your second Instagram live show.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm very happy to host you today. And Deniz will be my dear friend Deniz, the founder of European School of Breath. She'll be joining later to our
Okay.
conversation. And
Hmm.
actually, I'd like to start at how I discovered you, Louise.
Okay.
I just discovered you because I'm working with the kids and teachers and students, and for the last 7 years of my breathing career, especially in Europe, around Frankfurt, and for the last 13 months, actually from all over
Hmm.
the world, teachers and students. So
Yeah.
and I've actually that time I was working on my book because I
Okay.
have a book, but it's in Turkish and I'm translating it. It's going to be translated to English very soon. But it's a book
Okay.
for the parents, not just for the kids, not like
Oh, I
your book.
see.
And
Okay.
and at
Yeah.
that time, I was searching on the internet. I mean, is there any different stuff going on the mindfulness and breath work and also body work? So for the kids. So I just discovered you on Instagram. Actually, thank you to Instagram. And then
Oh,
I ordered your books.
oh, very good.
Yeah. These are,
Lovely.
that's a series and they're beautiful books. I mean, it's written from the heart. I can see that. Uh,
Yeah.
Beautiful. And then I discovered that you're a psychologist, and then you become actually you started to give some teacher trainings too.
Yeah.
Started the webinars, seminars, and you have even uh, made a seminar with Dr. Christopher Willard. I love him,
Hmm.
by the way. He is also working
Yeah.
with Daniel Rechtschaffen, and
Yes.
he's one of my teachers. I love him. I mean, he's great. His
Yeah.
methodology, how he teaches the things, and actually, he's not just teaching. He's also kind of a wandering mind, and
Mm. Yeah.
and so let me actually, with your own words, maybe you can tell us who is Louise. Hmm?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me, Anelia. Well, I guess I'm lots of different things. But I suppose my main focus is, or my main interest and passion is around mindfulness and self-compassion practices for young people, so children and teens. So yeah, and I've been practicing myself for a long time, for about 12 years now, and just found it so helpful for myself and so beneficial in so many ways. And it continues to be so. So a big part of how I work and teach would be to encourage people to practice their own mindfulness and compassion practices. So that be very strong as regards the work that I do. Yeah, and I suppose then I continued because I just really loved it for myself, and I felt that we should be teaching this to kids. So I would have started up my own classes for kids,
Mm-hmm.
and that was how I started. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, it was just like slowly, bit by bit, and then I wrote the books, the first series, The Mindfully Me,
Yeah.
and then just continuing then, to teach, and that's them, yeah.
Beautiful.
I would
Yeah.
I would really go all over Ireland, actually, all to schools and libraries, and would be traveling all around then teaching groups of children. Actually, that was what my main focus was. And then a lot of people were asking about it because it was quite new here in Ireland. Not there wasn't that much mindfulness for kids, and they wanted to learn. So I began training other people, and then I created the Creative Mindfulness Kids program. And so I train people to be creative mindfulness kids practitioners now. I have lots of students, and I
Yeah.
have a series of books as well, the Kindfully Me series,
Yeah.
and a curriculum as well, a mindfulness curriculum for schools. They call the Mindful
For
Heart
the
curriculum.
preschoolers? Is it for preschoolers or it's also
That's
for the
for 4 to 12 year olds.
Hmm.
and that is going to be launched now very soon in the next maybe month or so. So, and lots of other resources and cards, and I can show you them if you want. So,
Yeah, please.
um,
And I know there are some free materials also on your website for the teachers, for the parents.
yeah, yeah. So I try and give as much free materials as possible. I really believe in just making mindfulness and compassion practices accessible for as many people as possible, rather than rather than it being something that people always have to buy. So just to make it as freely accessible to everybody, that's what I'm really interested in as well. So yeah, on my website, I have like 20 or so, 25 workbook pages that teachers can use, and they can
Yeah,
use them as many times as they like. And then I have a YouTube channel where I have lots of like little videos called mini mindfulness moments. So I
yeah,
do kind of like, yeah, like popcorn breathing, hot chocolate breathing, and then I also like make videos for teens as well. So and then I have guided meditations as well. So
yeah.
yeah, I, I try and make it as kind of accessible for everybody and as kind of easy to integrate into life as possible. So most of my work now is around teaching others to be children's mindfulness teachers. That's the main part of my work now.
Mm-hmm.
And I have, yeah, I have quite a few students from all over the world actually. So, and I love that. And we have daily practice sessions on every day, every weekday. We have like webinars in the evening. We run at 8. So there's a lovely community actually. We've created a lovely community here in Ireland, but there's also people from all over the world. So it's beautiful, and I'm really grateful to be able to do the work.
That's beautiful. I mean, how you're really spreading your word. Uh,
Mm.
like I was talking to a friend of mine, I mean, last week with another kind of, she's the founder of a social responsibility project.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're doing those baby dolls, but I mean, there is a big story behind it. And
Ah,
I'd love to share
okay.
with you later on. And
Yeah.
actually, well, while I was telling her that she is singing a song, and
Mm.
some people who is really hearing that song and who likes to be in that song, they are just joining, and it's
Mm.
the same with you. It's like, and it becomes a choir afterwards, right?
Mm.
Because it's
Yeah.
very nice, because it's it's nicer when you grow with the people. I mean, we
Mm.
learn from children. And
Yeah.
I son, he's 6 years old, and actually I my breathing career and also working with the kids, something related to him, and
Mm.
before his birth, and I mean through his childhood, and I'm learning from him every day, and I'm sure you are also learning from the children that you've been working with. And also when you
Mm.
teach somebody, this is a trick for me, because I've been teaching also to the teachers.
Mm.
Um, you learn better, and that interaction makes that methodology really much stronger, and it's easy
Yeah.
to grow, right?
Yeah. Oh, I find that. Yeah, I find that I learn from everybody. So whether it's the children or the adults who I teach, like I absolutely like love teaching mindfulness. It's like a joy, to be honest. And I learn from everybody, so there's something to learn all the time, and it's a beautiful journey. Like, it's very special. It doesn't really feel like a job. It feels like a really kind of an honor to be able to do it. So yeah.
Exactly. I feel the same with you.
Mm.
And I think, I mean, who is really working with the children and about something, those well-being issues? So I think we are very lucky to do it, because
Yeah. Yeah.
joy, every day we feel joy in our hearts, that not people
Mm.
really feel it in those days, not that easy.
Yeah.
Some mothers, some parents, some teachers. My husband is a teacher too, and he's teaching
Mm.
10 years old to 18, 20 years old. It's a bit different here in
Yeah.
Germany. And uh, especially in those days, it's not easy for him, because they have to go to school, and the whole kids
Mm.
have their masks in the class.
Okay.
And the teachers also have to, you know, perform, because teaching is a performance, kind of. I mean,
Yeah.
every day he's doing his own stage, and you know, he's performing, and he's doing it with the with a mask, and there is no way to breathe without masks, especially
Mm,
at schools and also outside.
mm,
I mean, in the garden.
yeah.
The kids were doing some physical activities, some PE classes with the mask.
Mm,
I mean, and with,
yeah.
and so it's different in every country. So I'd like to ask you actually what's going on in Ireland in those days.
Yeah, I was in a school today, a secondary school, and so that means like with teenagers, and yeah, they were all wearing masks, and I was actually able to bring them outside, but they had to wear the masks outside as well. So it is a bit difficult,
Was
and I have to obviously wear a mask too. So yeah, it's like it's a bit, yeah, obviously it's a little bit more challenging to teach, you know, but I guess it's probably more important than ever now, really, isn't it? That I think a lot of I know a lot of the students in the group that I had today, there's anxiety there, and you know, they were off school for a long time. The schools just came back after Easter here in Ireland. So, and a little bit before that for the younger children. So they were off for quite a long time. So I think a lot of the children were like feeling anxiety and just kind of uncertainty. I guess there's not much certainty, is there? Like life is very uncertain at the moment, so that can create anxiety. So
for
yeah, I think yeah,
for
for everybody.
all of us. So it's not, maybe we don't
Mm,
feel anxiety today, but during the day it's like this. So tonight
mm,
today is very hectic for me. So
yeah.
just before the show, I was doing some breathing exercises, yeah, to make myself calm down and to concentrate. So this helps for everybody, I think. What do you think?
Absolutely, for all of us. And that's another big message. See, some of the students on my course have joined here. Like that, I keep saying all the time, you know, it's just to keep coming back to your practice as a teacher, because that's what helps you be a good teacher. Yeah, it's like the embodiment of it. That's what we're kind of working towards. So yeah, it's so helpful for everybody. Absolutely. Mm.
Yeah. And I see
Yeah.
that I also work with the teens and different age groups. And it's mostly online. Uh,
Yeah.
in some of the countries, I mean, the children are doing online classes, so it's from 9 to 4 o'clock sometimes. So it's too,
Yeah.
and afterwards they are so, you know, bored of the seeing teachers and doing the, you know, teaching stuff, geography or mathematics or physics. So they're just
Yeah.
jumping to computer games, and
Mm,
then so the accessible, yeah, and this misusage of screen time is just growing and growing. And I think
yeah.
in house, in every parent is not that happy what's going on. uh,
Mm,
Even though they put some restrictions. So okay, for you only 1 hour for a computer game or 1 hour to
mhm.
do something, but yeah, you know, the kids are finding a way to make it, you know,
Yeah.
on their own
Yeah.
stuff. And if the students, kids, the children cannot meet with their friends, of course, this is also another way of meeting with their friends online.
Mm,
And
yeah.
in my book, actually, I'm
Mm,
explaining that I tell this digital apnea, like sleep apnea.
mm,
So when
yeah.
you catch this
Mm,
screen all the time, you have really
mm,
shallow breaths or you hold your breath. And
okay.
it's also something that your mind just triggers and thinks that, okay, this is a stress situation.
Yeah.
Cortisol hormones
Mm,
starts to work, and you feel like actually under stressed and anxiety, and you feel that
mm,
quite normal. Because
yeah.
with this, so this is also called like hidden stressor technology.
Yeah.
So
Hey.
what do
Yeah.
you see actually when you work with the kids, especially about those um, digital digital misusage of the
Mm,
children? Because mindfulness and breath work or that kind of, and creative mindfulness is very important for this case, because they are using their hands And when you use
Yeah.
your hands, brain really, the neurons can just on fire.
Yeah,
If we
absolutely. Yeah.
add it in that way, uh, through the creative mindfulness.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Well, I think that kind of increase in technology use and phone use and games, especially for children and teenagers, that does create, I think it's just a lot of stimulation, isn't it? So the brain is very, very stimulated.
Yeah.
And I think with the practices, it's kind of it's a way of I think particularly like mindfulness meditation, it's a way of resting the mind, so dropping more into this beingness
Mm.
and this more stillness space. And when we're on the phones and when the children are kind of on their games and everything, there's a kind of a heightened stimulation in the brain. And I think this just, yeah, it definitely will affect sleep. But also, I think, as you say, there's the stress response and all of these kind of hits of dopamine as well. So it's very activating for the nervous system. That's what I think, you know. And then that has a lot of impacts then because the nervous system is so activated, stressed in a way sometimes. So I think then the practices are really good, like particularly, you know, with mindfulness, um, to rest the nervous system and connect to that more gentle beingness
Mm.
mode, you know. And then mindfulness in nature can be really nice around that as well. But yeah, the creative mindfulness really, that's I suppose my own style of teaching mindfulness. And I suppose I would be very kind of into kind of art and creativity, and then obviously very into mindfulness and meditation. So it was a way of bringing the two together. But it was really, from what I felt, kind of worked well with kids, because I felt that when they actually made something, or as you say, they use their hands, but they're also making something. It's very it's experiential. So it's something that they directly experience. It's kind of tangible. So it's not like a concept.
Mhm.
Because sometimes when we speak about things in mindfulness, like feelings or like, you know, thoughts, they're very conceptual, can be a little bit abstract. So when you're working with, you know, making something, it's much more tangible, it's real, it's something children can be proud of and maybe bring home, and then they can use it then with their families, and it becomes like an object that they can use. So then I'd encourage them to have like a little mindful space then with all of their objects there and their what they've made. And yeah, it just becomes a lovely anchor or tool to use repeatedly. And you know, I do find that with children where maybe could be like 6 years ago or longer, I've made like a mind jar with them, and they say, oh, I still have my mind jar, like I still use it. So so for me, it's just been what's worked for me, because as I said, I did this work myself for years before teaching anybody, and then I suppose I put it together in the program. So then I would teach other people then to create these activities and and how to, you know, what they mean and why we do them. But there's a very strong focus on creativity. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I because I'm following you, I didn't get any webinar or seminar or any training from you. I hope I can
Mhm.
get something like that soon. I can join one of your classes. But while I've been following you, I find it your work is just amazing, because I'm not just, you know, following people. Okay, they are, you know, teaching mindfulness for kids. So there are many people like that. I mean, there are
Mhm.
different methodologies like Ellen Snell or something like that,
Yeah.
and like
Mhm.
Daniel Redsfield or Mind Up, like Goldie Hawn methodology, some breathworks, some yoga teachers, and but I find it very interesting in your work that
Okay.
you use very interesting stuff. Can you share with
Okay.
us what they are? Because I've seen that ballerina breathing or breathing stuff that what you've
Yeah.
done with the teens. These are amazing work, Louise. I'm
Mm.
telling you, this is very exceptional. And yeah, please share with us.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I suppose I would have put put together like lots, like hundreds of creative activities that children can use to help them practice mindfulness. So I suppose I can show you a few now. I know you were asking for the ballerina breathing. That was a new one actually. I did this one for the most recent workshop that I did with Christopher Willard, and that was around anxiety. And so it's like they're so simple, like they're not complicated, but like that's like the little ballerina. But the idea is that there's feathers. So
Yeah.
then like the feathers obviously blow. Then so like really it's all about helping children make a connection. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
all
like that.
about children and teenagers, and it can be adults, but helping them make a connection with their breathing. That's the real key to this. So, that's what we're trying to do. So really simple, but you can just see that there. So it's just, they can design it. That's like a little wooden spoon.
And
And yeah, and then they're just doing their breathing. So, breathing in and breathing out.
yeah.
And then they see the feathers, but and like these nice deep long slow breaths as well, so the feathers kind of encourage the nice deep long slow breaths. So then they can be putting them together, so they can have something like their calm kit or their calm corner. So this is like I just took literally just a few out this evening, but that's like my calm kit they can make, or they can they can have their little calm corner, and of course they can have one at home, or they can have a little bag that they can bring with them. So so then I'll just kind of show you a few more. So then something like the breathing buddy. So that's a really, really nice one to make, really simple as well. And that's with a sock, and then filling the sock with rice. And you can even like put in like a few drops of like lavender if you want, or it's whatever scent the child likes, because just to be aware, not children, they don't always like a scent. So just to be conscious, especially if they were maybe on the autism spectrum. So just to be aware around that. And then you have you divide your breathing buddy into like little sections like that with like elastic bands, and then they can put a face on it, and he has little ears there as well. That's a lovely one to make. So then what they do is they put the breathing buddy on the belly. You can see here. So then they're breathing in and breathing out and breathing in.
Yeah.
And breathing out. So they're seeing the belly move, So yeah. And what I would do then, like in terms of like my training and that, like I obviously put together lesson plans. So then there's a lot more in the lessons than just the creative activity, but every lesson has a creative activity. And then the children then can take it home with them. So then like again, like another something else that we could use, say for the belly, is even something like kind of like a little rubber duck or a little boat, and the idea is like the waves up and down, and so breathing in and breathing out, and that I suppose brings the breath in, encourages the deep belly breathing. And that's good for like anxiety as well, because when we're anxious, the breath can come from the chest, so it's the shallow breathing. So what we want to do is bring the breath down into the belly, and then have that connection with the belly breathing. So that's nice for that. But children can use anything, like they can use like their own little toys they have, or whatever they have at home. Like say something like this is these are new ones that I've done. So bubble breathing, so they can make their own bubble wand. They can even have little beads to count the breath as well. So it might be, say, breathing in for 3, blow your bubbles.
Yeah.
Breathing out for 6. So like they can count, see the beads there. So like they can, or else they could count, like, so you could do, say, 6 of them. So you could say breathing in, breathing out.
Yeah, they can count by this way. This is very,
Breathing in,
this is so
breathing out.
beautiful.
And then it's really, so the idea is that so the idea with the practices is that They're very tangible, so they're multi-sensory as well. So there's the idea of like they're counting, they're holding, but they also have the sense of the bubbles. So it just becomes a lot more concrete for them, becomes something real that they can use and come back to. So I just find these little activities really good. And then all children are different, so
Yeah.
like children will respond to different activities. So it's just about finding the ones that they really like. So that's one there. So there really is, like, I have so many with the breath. I just brought a few, like even just a simple like feather here, but breathing in,
Yeah.
breathing out, blowing your feather. And you can put in your like little calm box, you can have all sorts here. So because it's not just about the breath, is it? Like that's just one anchor we can use, but it's also about like, the other anchors, so our senses, so what we can touch and what we can smell and what we can see and what we can taste even, and hear. So we can bring in your calm kit lots of different sensory items. So even like the candles, so breathing in, smell the candle,
Yeah.
breathing out, blow the flame.
Mm.
There's all sorts you can do with that. And and I have loads of other activities, but then in here I have like something like your stone. That's another like really nice little creative activity. So just like designing or coloring in a stone, so your little mindful stone, so they can decorate a stone. It's just really simple. Teenagers really like that too. But just holding the stone in the hand, then what does it feel like? What is the temperature, and what are the what are the different parts? What can I see? What are the different colors? What are the different designs? Just noticing when my mind jumps away, and then bringing it back and just using it as your anchor. There's lots of items in there, like shells, like your breathing flowers. So this is just a small one, but they can decorate a flower. It's just really simple. Breathing in, smell the flower. Breathing out, blow the petals.
Yeah.
Really simple. And there's loads of other bits in here. Then another one I really, really like is like this is like hand cream. That's a really nice little
I
mind cream.
I I
Yeah,
do too. It's my cream is here. Yeah, I do it
yeah,
too. I love
yeah,
I love it.
yeah. So like I'll just show, just in case people don't know. So like you can bring all the senses in. So like smelling the hand cream. This is a lavender one.
Mm.
Take in a little bit. What does it feel like now? Just putting it in the hands, rubbing them together, and just noticing. And what do your fingers feel like? Are they slippy? Are they slidey? And rubbing it on the front of the hands and the back of the hands, and closing your eyes now and rub your hands together. And now stop. And then we're going to take a nice deep breath in and smell the hand cream and out. So really simple, little ideas. And then obviously, and there's loads of other bits in there, but then they can have them in their little can kit. So like that can be a really nice thing. And then they decorate it, So they're like their little box there. What
You
else?
have some
Like,
cards for the teenagers, as far as I
yeah,
remember. Cards for the
yeah,
teenagers. Do you have them? Maybe you can show them.
yeah,
Actually, they're also very nice.
yeah,
Uh,
I do.
I find
Um,
it very valuable, and it's amazing.
yeah,
Those
I'll show you.
affirmations and stuff for the kids. It's very valuable.
Yeah, so I have these. They're called cam cards, and they're basically, and obviously you can actually make these as well. So you can make these with children or with teens. That's another thing you can do. Like it's another nice activity. But basically they have the kind of like affirmations on the front, and then on the back they have like little descriptions. So for example, this one says, "This too shall pass." And then on the back it says, "One thing we can be sure of in life is that everything changes. Whatever you are experiencing in this moment will be different soon. If life is difficult right now, trust that soon things will change. If life is good, enjoy every moment." So then we have just breathe,
Yeah.
Thoughts are not facts. um, there is no one like you, and that's your superpower. Every moment is a chance to start again. Do what feels right. Oh, be kind.
Yeah.
um, any other ones that we haven't? Love yourself first, and the only time is now, and you are lovable. And they come as posters as well. So like I have a publisher who basically publishes everything. He's an educational publisher. So like schools would be buying these then. So like say they'd have like, you know, you are lovable, and they come as the A3 poster. So then they would be on the walls in secondary schools in Ireland and things like that. So it's just nice to have those messages. But there you can use these like quite well for teaching mindfulness to teens by just taking one, or you don't even, you know, can be anything. It could just be a quote, and you can just say you are lovable, and just like get them into groups and ask them to think about, well, what do you think about that? Like, is that true or is that not true? So like just giving like teenagers prompts and then encouraging them to kind of work together, and then discuss and then come back round. Like that's a method I find that works really, really well with teens, because sometimes in big groups they can find it a little bit hard to kind of talk out. And yeah, so that's just something. But again, and then I have like the affirmation cards for the younger kids as well, and I show you them. So I have a few different ones. I have ones for different ages, but again, with these, remember just that you can make these yourself. So like children can make their own pack of affirmation cards, and they love doing that, or their own posters.
Can you
So
share parts, because that character is so nice.
yeah,
I find it very beautiful. I mean, I don't know who was your illustrator. It's Rose Finnerty, I think.
yeah, for these ones, yeah.
Beautiful. I mean, beautiful work. I mean, what you have done together, it's so beautiful. I mean, every single character. I know the books, and I also have.
Aww,
Yeah, it's beautiful
thank you.
art. I mean, that's for sure. And yeah,
Thank
and
you.
I advise your books, and also for those cards for teens and for the preschoolers and primary school, for 4 to I think 12 years old, and also for the teens, to everybody. And I think this might get some inspiration for the adults, because I'm also doing it
Mm,
for my husband. I'm writing,
mm,
notes to his lunchbox, and
yeah,
I'm writing to his lunchbox. Sometimes he sees something
yeah.
in the morning on, while he's shaving.
Mm,
On the mirror, because I'm also working very hard in those days, and we can't see each
mm,
much. When I'm working, he's with our boy, and when he's working, I'm with our boy. So we are sharing life somehow, but we can't
mm,
meet. And expressing feelings, it's not just for the little ones, also for the adults, and whoever we live in a house. Actually, it's very important. If we live with our friends or partners, or with our mothers or fathers, or with the family members, I think this is also important, and it's just doing something and leave it there. So
yeah.
it is like a love letter to somebody.
Mm,
So, and it
yeah.
means a lot. I
Yeah.
think it's working with us in our partnership and in our marriage, very good, in a very good way, and I
Oh,
advise it to everybody.
that's lovely. Really nice. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And like I'll show you these ones so that you know, and they bring in the like self-soothing touch as well. So this is give yourself a hug, I am safe. You can see there. Again, you can just make these, but giving yourself a hug, I love to be me. Um my thoughts are just like clouds, they're only passing by. And one I really like is like hand on the heart and I am loved. So there's 10 there. And again, they have posters as well. So lots of schools here in Ireland would have them as big colourful posters in the room. So I find that that's good, and it is just that little reminder. And I just say, yeah, absolutely, we all can do with this, It's not just for children or teens, it's very much for ourselves as well. And it can be nice. I have some of them, or I make my own versions, like that I have maybe in around my house, and writing on the mirrors and different things like that. And yeah, it can just be really helpful just to remind you, because with mindfulness and self-compassion, like the big part of it is the coming back, and the coming back, it's not really something we ever get and we're like, yeah, I know it now. It's a journey, and it's a lifelong practice, and we need those little reminders so they can be really helpful. Yeah, so
That's true. Also for us. Yeah, because we are I mean, when we work with the kids, or when we're at home with our children, or in the class as a teacher, we are just trying to feel like, okay, give, giving,
yeah,
teaching them, or
yeah,
not missing the enjoy and joy part, actually.
yeah.
And so some of my friends are telling me, but I
Yeah.
teach mathematics, and my husband is telling me there's a curriculum, I have to teach English. I mean, to those and politics, and it's harder actually when you try to teach it to the teenagers. And I'm just saying, but try to enjoy it. And what we're doing with Deniz, actually, I'm going to invite her soon. We are trying to enjoy whatever we do with the kids. So for the last question, actually, I'm wondering, how did your work and path has crossed, actually, your way crossed with Dr. Chris Willard? How did it happen?
Okay. Well, originally I did his training, so he trains people to teach mindfulness to children, and yeah, so I did his training.
Okay,
And
you're a student.
yeah, and then so I that was originally how I met him. And then I would have he would be my supervisor, so like, we have I don't know if you have supervisors, but to kind of to guide us on our work, and so he's my supervisor. And and then he would have came here to Ireland a couple of years ago, maybe was it two years ago now, I think, or was it, or maybe it's three, and the time goes quickly. So, and he came and he did a workshop here with me, and which was lovely. We did a day-long workshop, and then we just recently did another workshop together. So it's great to be able to.
And that's congratulations, because I mean, as a student now, you become a teacher with him and giving seminars with him. He's also a legend and idol, also for most of the mindfulness teachers, and his work is also exceptional. I find it quite interesting, and let me invite my dear friend Deniz while we are talking. Because actually we have one thing in common, that you are also working with your brother. I think she should. Okay, then hello. Welcome.
Try to adjust my hello.
Oh,
it's so nice. So nice to be here with you. I've been listening enthusiastically about the things you're talking, the things Louise is explaining, and I'm so happy to be here with you, ladies.
We too. I've been working with Deniz for a while. Actually, she's also a breathworker. I think my sound
is a bit of an echo.
Yeah?
Again, why is that now?
Your sound, my sound. I don't know why. So we've been working in some different projects all together. I'm also a senior trainer in European School of Breath, and I'm the founder of Breathing Games, and I'm also doing my own work. And there are also things that we are doing, but basically we are actually working with teams for the last couple of months in an 8-evening project, union project. Maybe Deniz can tell about it, and doing in School of Breath, and her dreams about children's breath.
Yeah, actually, listening to you ladies, and also Louise mentioned that it all started with our own selves, right? We first went through something, and then we used it on first ourselves, and then it worked, and we started extending it to other people. And with me, it was quite similar. I started with breathing because I needed it personally in my life. I was in a period, things were not going the way I expected. And then breath work was a real enlightenment for me. And I started doing it for myself. Then I became a trainer, instructor of it. And then when working with one of my counselors, and she was actually the headmaster of the school of my kids, and she just realized there are things that you can do during this process. You can just get rid of the things you have been carrying for so long. And then she realized I needn't have carried them for so long. And then she said, why don't we do this with the kids? You know, if we give them a tool to connect with themselves and to go through emotions, go through all the loads they have been accumulated on them, instead of collecting them over the years, they just don't need to have them like we have it when we are adults. And that was the beginning of the idea. And while watching all the things that you shared with us that you're doing, and I also looked at your website, I looked at your Instagram site, and I got so excited about all the things I saw. So much, you can feel it, like Anil said, there's so much heart in it, there's so much love in it, and all the things you share without any cost, without any price on it, free sharings, these kind of things, I mean, these kind of things that bring people like us together, I believe. Because for me, like Anil mentioned, the dream is bringing the breath work into schools, into the school curriculum. And to start with is Belgium and hopefully Germany, and then extend it to the Europe first, but the rest of the world, all of the world, because mindfulness is doing beautiful in this way. There are already so many schools who have adopted mindfulness as their curriculum. And the thing I like about your work a lot, based on all the videos I've seen, the workshops you're doing, there are many mindfulness teachers working with kids that emphasize now and here and unconditional acceptance. But the tool we use for this is breathing. And the most important thing for our body, which is a very physical thing and which runs on oxygen, and how much oxygen you get into your body, that much efficient you are. The most important thing is the belly breathing. And I feel there is not enough emphasis when doing mindfulness work into the belly breathing. And looking all your videos, I think you do it so beautifully. I think you do it in a way that we also try to do it, because I don't see so much difference between mindfulness and breathing. One sees it as the breathing is the tool you have to hang on to. The other says you have to stay now and you use breathing. So it's looking at the same thing from different perspectives. If you bring it in a way that actually the focus is in the belly breathing, then you do we call it in Turkish, you shoot two birds with one stone. Because this is the thing that this physical body really needs. And this is what I like so much about your work. I just also wanted to emphasize this. And how we work in the European School of Breath, the basis indeed is these are kids, and kids learn when they have fun. And you have it so much in your work as well. And we also used quite a lot of the animations that you have made. Kids love it.
Yeah.
Kids love it because animations are, yes, we're talking about take a breath, hold the breath, breathe out and hold the breath. Again, take a breath, hold the breath, breathe. But these animations, they bring it in such a visual way that they don't only have to imagine it in a, like you said, an abstract way, but it's really in front of their eyes. And this generation is a visual generation. They like to see things. They like to have a screen and look at the screen. So this is also nicely taking them from that corner and bringing them to where we want to take them. And we really love all these animations, and teachers love them as well. Not only us. Yes, definitely. So coming to the e-twinning, after all that, e-twinning is actually a European platform where the schools and teachers come together. And this group that actually got in contact with Anul first, and she introduced me to them. They have 4 countries participating, altogether 111 kids, if I'm not mistaken, between the age of 10 and 14. And there are 10 teachers involved from these 4 countries. And they are doing this project now. It's almost the end. In May, they are going to close it. And the reason they started up is because now we are all going through a very unusual period. The kids they don't have the contact with their friends or with their teachers as much as they did before. There is distance schooling being done. And there is also so much anxiety and emotional stress over the kids. And their aim was to bring them on a platform that they can feel themselves closer to each other and also help them manage all this anxiety and stress overcome by themselves. So they started, the name of the project is also beautiful, Mindful of Mindful, they call it. And they actually also got very much into the creative mindfulness. That's how they contacted Anul. And then we did a few workshops with them. Kids just love them, teachers love them, especially those animations are very popular. They love this chocolate meditation. And they just learn a lot from it, both the teachers and the kids. And actually we're trying to do, not like you say, not only give them a workshop and say, hey, this is nice, do this, but we also show them how to do it so that they can continue doing it by themselves, because these are tools that they can use lifelong for a whole life. So this is about the e-twinning. This is a bit about me and my school.
Oh, wow. So interesting.
Yes, and I'm
I think it's something is wrong with your mobile because this is echoing. Can you hear it?
No, I don't hear anything.
Okay, because we can hear it, and I can hear from also Louise. Maybe you can leave out and come in again. And
I'll try.
Okay, let's try that way. Okay, because we can't talk that. I mean, they can't listen.
Does it also echo when I talk?
It's fine.
No.
Oh, now it's better. Now I don't know what you did, but it's working.
No, I'm just trying to leave. I hear you very. Let's try.
Now it's fine.
Now it's fine.
Stay there.
It's fine now.
No, but I hear you. I'm trying to leave.
No,
It's fine now.
stay there. It's fine now.
No, but anyway, I don't see you on the screen. But I just pressed leave.
You can see you. Just leave like that because of the sound.
Okay, fine then.
The others cannot hear.
But does it echo when I talk?
No, there is no echo, but when we talk, there is an echo. Now it's fine. Okay, thank you very much for the introduction. Because we are also working with Deniz with different methodologies. It's not just only one. Of course, our anchor comes from breath, but we also use mindfulness, creative mindfulness, any kind of, I mean, we are open to any kind of different methodology also, like body and mind. So today it's mindfulness, tomorrow it's something else, but it's the core is mostly all those things going on. And actually, I would like to ask you, Louise, how do you find those ideas? I mean, I know that the girls would like to be ballerina, and I know I'm working with this. I mean, I know I'm using those feathers, but I never thought that, okay, let's make a ballerina from that. And these are the ballerinas, you know, skirt or something. How do you find those ideas?
I'm not sure. I've always been very creative. So when I was a child, I was always making things. My mum said, like, I was just constantly making. So to be honest, it kind of comes quite easily. So I've done a few things. I only brought a few things with me here. I have other creative ideas here if you want to see them.
Yes, please.
Okay, because I know you were saying you want to, so like there's this one which is, I know you were saying about these are new ones that I've just made recently, but with the spoons, so they're really easy. But this idea of our feelings,
Spoons are
like
beautiful. I love.
they're cute. They're so easy. You can just buy like big packs, like 100 of those wooden spoons, and they're so easy. But you can make like little feeling puppets. And then, like, what's good there is to give those feelings a name, because that helps externalize them. And that sense of like name it to tame it, which comes from Dan Siegel, and that sense of kind of getting our prefrontal cortex back on track when we kind of flip our lids, or when our kind of amygdala kind of fires. So he talks a lot about that. So when we name our emotions and label them, or even our thoughts, that helps get our prefrontal cortex, which is kind of that logical reasoning part of the brain, back on track, and helps us calm and relax. So yeah, that's the kind of the angry one there. So angry Angelina or whatever. And then there's loads of ways to make emotions. Like I love doing these with kids. So you might have, there's a happy one. So, happy Henry or sad Sally. And a really nice creative activity to do is to make a heart house. Okay, so this is just the heart house. So this is like, we have a little house in our heart, and then our feelings come as visitors to our heart house. So then we can ask the children, what feeling is visiting today? So maybe it's sad Sally is visiting today. And then the whole message here then is that whatever we feel is okay. So whoever comes to visit our heart house, that's okay. So it's okay if sad Sally comes, because the thing with feelings is that they don't stay forever, do they? They go again. They're like visitors. So you can really show it, and then they can even play with it. And the same then, as you could say, and then the next day, maybe on Saturday, happy Helen comes to visit, and she's here now. So you can show this sense of impermanence of feelings, that they come and they go. And then we can also talk about this sense of whatever is here is belongs. So we can say all my feelings are welcome here. And there's lovely activities that are very simple to do. And I'll just show you like 3 versions. But like this sense of like, this is so easy, but like the everything belongs heart. So it's like whatever feeling I have is okay. And like even for adults, like that's very powerful, just to put a hand on our heart and say, how I feel is okay. So whatever feeling is here, that's okay, And then what you can do is you can get the children or teenagers to put in different pieces of paper or jewels, and they represent all the different feelings, whether that's sadness or anger or joy, and that everything belongs. And again, they can have that up in their kitchen, or like in their bedroom, or in their calm spot, in their relaxed corner. And then other versions of it, this is a new version I've done recently for teenagers. So if you want to just do it, so it says, so this is done with buttons.
Beautiful.
And they glue it on, and then the words say, I welcome and accept all of my feelings. All my feelings belong. So that's a nice one. And here's another one that's done with Fimo clay. And if you look there, it says everything belongs. And then the different beads are like all the different colors of all the different feelings. So like then teenagers or kids, they can have that like in their school bag, or just like as something there, like just as a reminder. So I find that nice. And then what we can do then is we can help children learn, we can say, well, when sad Sally comes to visit, what do we say to sad Sally? Do we say, go away, I don't like you, I don't want you here? So instead we can say, you're welcome, all my feelings belong. And we can say, what can we do? We can do our breathing, we can do our hot chocolate breathing, we can maybe do I do another one, fire in our hands, we can do our we can talk about it, we can tell someone, we can put my hand on our heart and say kind things to yourself. So just as Daniel,
we can draw.
We can draw. So that's the kind of your skill. So just as Dennis was saying there, I thought that was really lovely. Dennis, the way you were saying that, you know, that was similar to me. You know, I would have come across these practices when I was going through a difficult time in my life. And like, we'd hope that maybe by sharing these practices with children that they don't have to go through as much difficulty maybe as maybe we have as adults, and that they actually have these resources, like tools that they can use, you know, because these are things that we can teach, which I think is very empowering. Like, you know, they learn maths and geography and all these things, but I feel like we should be teaching children, as you say, about the breath, about their emotions, about being kind to themselves. So can I just share one other activity that I really like? Is that okay? If I wanna, like, so there's one more I really like,
and before you go to the next one, may I just say that when you brought up this heart with the house-shaped heart, that it just brought to my mind the poem from Rumi.
Rumi, yeah.
If you know about it, the guest house.
Yeah.
And it's like, whichever comes, you don't scold them, you don't say go away, you just accept them. I just had goosebumps when watching you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It is. It's absolutely. That's it. Exactly. But something I feel really passionate about in children and teens being kind to themselves, because we hear so much about being kind to others, but like not that much about being kind to themselves. So like a really good activity for that is like to make the inner friend. So it can be like, this is just like a little, and you know, children can think of, well, if I had the most kindest, most lovely, bestest friend, what would they be like, and maybe what would they say, and what words would they use? So they can make their inner friend, and then what they can do is they can write down all the little things that the inner friend might say. So she might say, oh, do your breathing. She might say, do your hot chocolate breath. She might say, you know, say your kind words. She might say, talk about your feelings, like all these different tools. And then children can go to their little bag, and then they can take out, you know, they can say, oh, what's my inner friend going to say to me today? And then they might put their hand and they say, oh, do my hot chocolate breathing, or you are just right. So it's just a way of strengthening that kind voice, because so many of us as adults have this very strong inner critic, and I feel like that's a nice way of doing it. And like this is
Sorry,
way of,
we are hearing your breath, sweetheart. Can you just make it a bit? Yeah, that's better.
okay.
I don't hear anything, so I just...
It's okay. Yeah, go.
This is another really simple one then as well, around kindness to ourselves, like just a little mirror sticker, and then on a paper plate, and then they can just write kind things to themselves. So I am kind, I am safe, I am a good friend, I am loved, and then just for the teenage.
I find that this is amazing. This is a very good job.
Yeah.
Amazing. People are doing it with the cards and some other stuff, and yeah, I know from my adult experience, we've been also doing it with our, you know, big breathwork seminars with a mirror. I mean, with the, you know, very interesting meditations and something. But with the kids, with affirmations and the mirror, that's a great idea. I must tell you.
It's very powerful, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful idea to present it to the kids, and they make it themselves.
They make it themselves. Yeah, exactly. This is something then for teenagers. That's just done with the Fimo clay, polymer clay, and then it says be kind to you, and they can decorate them. Teenagers like those kind of things that they can do, and then they can like put varnish on them and have them, and maybe have them in their room or things like that. And then I'll just show you one last one then, and this is like, you know, I always tell children to talk about it. So I say, put up your hand and think of 5 people who you could talk to about your feelings. So in your thumb, maybe someone who you live with, and the next finger, someone in a house you visit, the next finger, a friend, the next finger, someone in school, and the little finger, someone else. So they always have 5 people, and then they can just do the hand, and then they have theirs. So, you know, who can I talk to about, and then they can put the different people. Yeah. So like, I have like hundreds of activities, so I just wanted to show you a few today. Like, there's still more there now, but just to give you some ideas of how you can use the creativity to teach them some of these tools and skills. But I have lots of videos on YouTube that people can watch as well, if they want to get, and they're all free if they want to get ideas. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's important. I want to show you one.
Oh, lovely.
That's a paper cup. That's, you know,
Yeah.
striped, and that's a normal latex
Glove.
Oh, cool.
stuff.
Glove.
So you just
Glove,
breathe
yeah.
it,
Yeah.
and
Oh, that's good. I like that one. Really good.
that's something that I use a lot, especially on my online classes. So kids just make high five with their stuff, and they also make it, and they also create something. So it is kind of, it can be in there also in breathing box. And I will
love
show
that.
you the draw breath. We are also using this with Deniz in our teacher in our class.
Lovely.
Tom Granger.
Tom
He is.
Granger.
This is an adult book. This is not
Okay.
a children's book, but I think we can work with Tom, and we can make a children's book version of this, because it's amazing. And I've been already doing this draw breath method in my classes.
Right.
Really beautifully done. It's really beautifully done, and he's also an illustrator, and he's
I
also
must order that book.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they have a mind map exercise. He has a mind map exercise that actually we have done with the teachers, and Deniz has done it. So we would like to share a little bit with that mind map exercise, Deniz.
Yeah, basically it's about realizing where your mind is in the moment.
Okay.
And it starts on a format that you have actually 3 columns on one A4. And the first column is past, middle column is now, present, and the right column is future. And then you just put some dots on these 3 columns, some parallel dots, like 3 dots and 3 dots and 3 dots and 3 dots. And then you start from now and breathe. You focus on your breathing, and then you just, as you breathe, you just realize at that moment if your mind is lingering to somewhere.
Something
And then,
like that.
yes, it does, because it loves lingering. And then you just realize where the thought was gone, where your mind was gone, to think about a thought in the past or about a thought in the future. So you just go to the past. If it is, I didn't do this that good today, I should have done it the other way, then it's a past about it's a thought about the past.
Yeah.
And then you realize that you were gone to the past, then you come back to now.
Yeah.
And then you refocus on your breathing. And then see next time, where does your mind go? It really draws a very interesting pattern when you do that along 6, 7, even 3 laps. And then you actually have a map of your mind. You just see mostly where your thoughts are focused. Are you someone who is so much stuck in the past? Are you someone often anxious about what's going to happen in the future?
Very good.
This is beautiful. It's really beautiful. We haven't done it yet with the kids, but very simplified version, very smaller, not that long, 6, 7 steps, but maybe 2, 3. It can easily be done with the kids as well.
Very
because
good.
Kids love using their hands as they breathe and their bodies.
Yeah.
So
we are also using some music. Sometimes we are doing dance breathing, and so to make their breathing activate a little bit, and then feel their body, and meet with their things like that, and like breathing songs, and meditations with the movement, and also with the dance, and also with the vibrations and sounds. So we use that stuff a lot. I believe that it's very healing. Also, I see that especially for the children with the needs, with special needs, it's also very nice, and the colors and that kind of. And listening to music and listen to your breath, and then just draw your breath. So draw your breath, kind of creative ideas. So they're just doing so many different stuff. They are coloring them, and it's the picture of their breath. It's their piece of art. So it's also interesting. So we would like to share, that kind of stuff together, so we can really grow together, and we can give some hope and a perspective, also breath awareness and mindfulness for the kids that, and there is no age for that. I mean, for us, maybe we were a bit late, but for the students, for the teachers, for the parents, because when we touch the parents, they are also showing it when they feel it in their hearts, sharing it with their parents, with the ones they love, they are around. So I find it very precious, very, very precious. And they are really not teaching, but showing the path, showing the way of life to us, like a North Star, maybe.
Yes.
So it is very important. And I was going to ask you, because I work with my brother too, and I know your animations and things like that. And we have a very interesting project with my brother. It's not for the kids, but it's also for the breath and NFT, blockchain, and pandemic and traveling. So it's an interesting project, but it's a digital. Because I also work on the digital markets. I'm not just working with the kids. This is kind of my second career, let me say. My breathing career is going on, but I also work with the wellness tech companies like Breath Hub or kids applications and some startups. So I'm also writing meditations, and I'm writing some games like breathing games and for mobile kids apps. I'd like actually both of you to introduce to those guys and what we could do together. I have a meeting tomorrow with one of the founders. So let's see what we could do together, because I mean, we are strong together. That's what I believe. So
definitely.
Oh yeah, I always find that to work with different people, and we're definitely stronger together. That's so true. Yeah, absolutely. And I know I'd love to work and do any collaboration with you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And Louise, I would like to eat whatever you're eating, and I would like to drink whatever you're drinking. How do you get all these creative ideas that you bring up like that?
I'm not sure. I'm lucky. That's one thing I like. And it's kind of, I think I'm just naturally quite creative person, you know. So.
But your brother is like that. I think it's coming from your parents and genes too. It's like left side and right side of the mind. Together is your brother, because I'm doing the same. It's so interesting to me. It's lovely. I mean, because he's one of the person that knows me nearly that I was born. So sometimes we have triggers. We don't even we don't want to talk to each other, and we don't even say hello, and that day is just like that. But the other day we share ideas, and especially what I do and what he's doing in his life. So I think it comes from kind of the genes and kind of the family collaboration, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's lovely to collaborate with your family as well. And I have another brother. They're actually twins, John and Paul. They're my youngest. They're my youngest brothers. They're only 28, but they were going to do some listening, because my other brother Paul has got lots of lovely instruments, so we're going to do some listening and videos coming soon around mindful listening with all the different sounds. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So I think it is a little bit in the family.
I think so, because there is no end for those stuff. I mean, we have to combine it with the technology to reach the kids. Otherwise are going to lose. If we just teach those methods, or even if we play games with some very traditional methods, which you are doing traditional, but you are also combining with the technology. You are doing ballerina breathing. It's nice, but when they get older, they can see the swing breath or some other or that's the other stuff that you can just hook them and, hey, I'm still here. So you can still, we can still breathing together. So ballerina breathing is not just for your age right now, but you are 8 years old or 10 years old, and you can just breathing together. So these are very, I find that this is very valuable, and to make all that kind of methodologies, kind of in German we say Zeitgeist. I mean, to the of this time, the modernized, all those stuff. So this is quite. And tomorrow is, we are going to the end because I know we love each other, so we can talk a lot. I mean, all those things and exercises, and I'm sure Deniz have many other stuff, and you do, and me too. But let's wrap it up. And tomorrow is Children's Day in Turkey, and the founder of Turkey, Atatürk, has also presented this. It's a present, it's a gift actually from him to all the kids, all the children of the world, and this is the only festival for the children of the world. And not very well known.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that's why we wanted to do this show, this live show today, just before that day. And I'd like to give Deniz to the word. Actually, what would you like to say?
Oh yeah, this is it's actually the establishment of the parliament in 1920, to go back.
Yes.
But and it was just to start up a new republic from the ruins of an empire. And yet the republic was not declared. But when the parliament was established, Atatürk thought, I guess, that this is the first day of the future, and kids are the future, so this day should be their day. And I remember since 40 years, probably a bit more, this is celebrated internationally. So when I was a kid, that was a big thing. That week, 23rd April week, there were kids coming from all over the world to Turkey, from Germany, Belgium, UK, Ireland, US, Morocco, you name it. And they would stay there.
Countries.
There was like 60, 70, 80 countries. And for 1 week, they would stay with Turkish families in Ankara, and they would attend festivals, and you would watch them doing their folkloric dances in their local costumes. And it was like magic for me, I remember. So it's something special. And that week, we would also have at school the kids' ball. Kids' ball. We would dress nicely. We would have a party that day. It was really a kids' festival.
Right.
And, this just coming to Europe, being away from Turkey and growing up, of course, we just thought, why don't we do this for our own kids here? And in Belgium, I started, and Anil in Germany, in different groups. And this year in Frankfurt, the Frankfurt Theater Group, they are organizing a 3-day, day and night celebration, let's say. There are going to be workshops, there are going to be music shows, there's going to be a theater that is organized by, again, the Theater Frankfurt, and the kids themselves are playing. And it's written only for these kids, the play. So there is a lot happening this weekend, and we are becoming kids again, or the kids in us are coming out. It's very intense, going to be very tiring, but very much fun. And I'm also looking forward to it. And I'm so happy that I can talk about this here. And I'm really hoping to continue that tradition of keeping it international and celebrating it with all the kids of the world. Because if the kids can grow up with the mindset that this is a global world, if I know my other partner, counter-partner, enemy, if you call it for some countries, that if you know that person doesn't stay as an enemy anymore, because it's just your friend. He was there for the festival 10 years ago. He stayed with your family, you know.
Yes.
And that is the intention behind it. And I'm so happy we are able to do it again this year. Thank you, Theater Frankfurt.
Lovely.
Thank you, Deniz. So, what would you like to say, Louise, for the last words?
Oh, okay. Oh, well, yeah, I think you're right, Deniz, about that, and that, you know, when we kind of connect with each other, it breaks down boundaries, doesn't it? And then that we're stronger together. And I've definitely found that, you know, with my courses and that, like, there's such a lovely community now. And I think, you know, together, when we connect with each other like we've done today, then we can really make a real difference, I think, in the world and in children's lives. And it's you know, we can make some difference by ourselves, but when we connect, that's when we can really make a difference. So yeah, so I've really enjoyed connecting with Dee this evening, and hopefully maybe we might be able to some work together in the future or something. And I've loved your ideas, and yeah, it's great to connect and share ideas. And thank you so much for inviting me. So thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, and
Yeah.
both of you. And I think it was a great beneficial evening for the parents, for the teachers, with so many creative ideas. And I, you know, I think everyone has some innovative stuff also, who is working with the kids, who is working on the mindfulness side, who is working on the breath work. It doesn't need to be working with the kids. Those ideas can arise from any other disciplines wherever you work, actually. So thank you very much for listening us. So goodbye then. Goodbye Ireland. Goodbye Belgium.
Bye.
Goodbye.
It was a pleasure, ladies. Thank you.
Bye now.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.